Bullet Helms with me today. How you doing, brother?
Doing great. How about you?
No,
Ray?
you tired.
I am tired.
Tired day.
Yep.
Yeah, we're both two old men. We're tired today. But welcome to About Your House on Fox Sports Charlotte, YouTube Live, Facebook Live, and wherever else you might be hearing us. But we're live, streaming live at the podcast studio in the toolbox. We're going to call it the toolbox. But today we're going to talk about, well, what are we going to talk about today, Bullet?
Whatever's on your agenda, Ray. I'm ready to roll.
See, he's full of information. See, you can tell already. How long you been in the remodeling, home improvement, maintenance, home building? You've been in all of it. How many years?
I'd say in this particular sector, 35, 40 years.
35, 40 years.
Yeah.
That's a lot of time. But I've been at it I'm going on my 56th year in this industry. And I do believe that's right. And it's been fun. I love it. And my goal now is to teach other kids as well as young adults or old adults. There's a lot of opportunity in the trades. And what do we talk about when we talk about put tools in schools? Why is it so important? Why does it affect homeowners everywhere? Well, you know, the sad part about it, most homeowners don't know how bad it is because they're too young to realize how bad it is. But it's bad, isn't it?
It's awful. The reason being is a lot of this was taken out of our schools a number of years ago, back when you had shop classes and different things, you know, auto mechanics, electronics, and a lot of different trades that were taught in schools, middle schools and high schools at that point. And now everybody's been kind of indoctrinated into college, and
it's all about the almighty degree.
The problem with that is that the parents are not much better because these kids, they sit there and they're on their tablets, they're on their phones, they're on their computers, and they see when there's a problem in the home, mom or dad goes to Google and calls the man, like Andy said with Aunt B, call the man.
Right.
And somebody comes out and fixes it. Well, there's not enough people, not enough kids that know enough about what's going on in the trades.
Not only that, but when you there again, I talk about this every week on the show here. Have talked about it for many years now, and a lot of people are probably tired of hearing about it. But it's gotten so bad, you need to hear about it because we need to make a difference. We need to get to these kids, raise the awareness, and teach them. There's a lot of opportunity, great pay, good benefits around the trades. Now, that's not to say every company out there is one that you want to work for, just like in corporate America, right?
Exactly.
Because corporate America, well, tell us about corporate America and your experience with corporate America, Mr. Bullet.
Well, it really hasn't been that good over the years.
And that's another thing I want to bring up because that plays a big role in this.
Well, you're basically a number.
Yep.
And they steer you wherever they want you. They're going to do this, they're going to do that, and you're going to just shake your head and say yes or no. And by getting involved in the trades, once you go through the apprenticeship, learn what you're doing, you have an opportunity to get licensed if that's a requirement for that particular trade, and then you have an opportunity, once you develop the skills, you have an opportunity to go out and actually start your business.
Start a business with that new big buzzword, entrepreneurship.
With starting a business, it enables people to control their own destinies.
Yep.
The old saying is you get out of it what you put into it.
Right.
And that's
key.
Still true today.
It is. And, if you work hard, you get it back, no doubt about it. But let me take a time to introduce all my crew here today, and I feel like it's important because this is our second podcast, second week in a row. We're going to try to make these things consistent every week, so we'll be coming at you live during the week. And it's a great show about your house. We're going to talk about, like always, your house, your neighbor's house, whatever you need to know or whatever you don't need to know. And I'm going to cover things here today about winter. It's getting cold again. But unfortunately, I say unfortunately because I'd love to see a winter. We ain't had a winter in many a year.
It's been a while. It's, we hadn't had one basically this year, maybe a couple of weeks, but that's
we hadn't had any time really where it's cold, but I've got the forecast here on the interweb, and we can check it out and see what it's going to be. But I understand it's going to get down to 19 degrees one day next week.
I think it's this week.
Yeah,
I think it's
Thursday.
Thursday morning.
Yep, Friday morning early, 19 degrees. But let me throw you a little curve, not a curve. Let me throw you a little information. Don't worry about any freezing pipes, because in Charlotte, North Carolina, to have freezing pipes, you must stay down below 32 degrees for at least a day or 2 days. And, you know, that seldom happens anymore in Charlotte.
Well, the only caveat to that, you won't see freezing pipes in most cases inside a home because they're so tightly wrapped.
If it's a newer house.
Yeah, but what we see on the outside spigots from time
Hose
to time,
bibs.
hose, yeah, those will occasionally freeze up, and you have to be very careful of those. Keep those wrapped on the outside.
Keep them wrapped in a little bib bonnet, is what they call them. You can get it at the big box stores for less than $5 a piece, and they work real well. Keep your little hose bib all covered and sweet and just all cozy and warm where it be protected. Yeah, take care of that hose bib. And also, if you hadn't drained your garden hoses yet, it might be a good time to do it. Good day for it. Sun's going to be up. High of 57 degrees. You know, excuse me, I'm wrong. Let me see, high 59 degrees. So you got 59-degree weather outside, and a lot of people don't go drain their water hoses, garden hoses. What's another southern name for it? I think I covered it, Adam.
You got it right, buddy.
And spigots and
drink out of them when we was growing up. So
they don't do that no more. They think it's bad. Ooh.
We
Yeah, that's fair, didn't it?
We did a lot of things bad. We rode skating boards and bikes without helmets and knee pads and all that other stuff, and crashed and burned and rode mini bikes without helmets. So, you know.
I grew up in the day where you
survived.
couldn't go to the store and buy a skateboard. Seriously. We'd take old Chicago skates. Weren't they called Chicago or something?
Yeah.
Roller skates. And we'd flatten them out and make our own little brackets and screw it to the bottom of a board, and there was a skateboard. Man, I crashed and burned many a day on one of those rascals.
We had a gentleman up the street that had a wood shop, and he would saw out different size skateboards depending on what we're going to put on it.
Right.
We might put one of those, those skates that you adjusted with a screw according to shoe size.
Right.
With the metal wheels. Man, if you had 2 skates on the bottom of that piece of wood, you was in high cotton back then. And I can't tell you how many people broke wrists and arms and stitches. So,
I'll never forget my experiences on skateboards, but that's yonder years ago. Nope. And you know, there again, we talk about growing up as kids. We didn't have knee pads. We didn't wear helmets. We didn't do any of that, but we made it. But I must say, I got many a skint knee and skin elbow because of it.
Yeah, my mother used to buy mercurochrome by the 16-ounce bottle, and bacteria spray, and the stuff that she put on it hurt worse than the actual wound. So
mercurochrome.
Mercurochrome.
Boy, that stung.
Oh,
I bet most people hadn't even felt mercurochrome.
no.
Do they sell it anymore?
Hydrogen peroxide.
Oh yeah, I got
there
2 bottles of that here.
Until it poured it on there until it quit bubbling.
There you go.
Wipe it down, put a Band-Aid on it.
That's it. Well, there's rarely a day I can go out and work. I went out yesterday and did a couple of jobs out in venting kitchens. As you know, I talk about it frequently. I installed the prettiest vent hood I've ever installed this week. Gorgeous vent hood, custom vent hood, stainless steel wrapped in brass. It was absolutely gorgeous, 48 inches wide. Did it yesterday. I'm sorry I can't show you a picture. We got carried away because the electrician came in and got in our way, so we had to get out of there. Like always, blame it on the electrician, you know.
Yeah.
But it was a good time putting the vent hood up. Did 2 jobs yesterday, and enjoyed it a lot. But a little earlier, I was talking about my team here. We got Richie Rich is on the board today, along with Kevin Muir, and we got Mr. Teacher Mark Borja, Mark Borja Media, and he's on site today. We're learning this here studio, folks, so bear with us. We did one last week. We're going to be at you every week, so tune in. Tune in every week because we'll be here. That's About Your House. Heard on Fox Sports Charlotte every Saturday morning, 9 to 11 a.m. So tune us in. And also put toolsandschools.org in. I want to talk about the weather a little bit here, talking about, cold weather, hose bibs, taking care of business. And there's a product I talk about many, 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 many times. A lot of you have heard it so much you could probably tell me the phone number. But I'm talking about attic tents. You know about attic tents?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
If you live in Charlotte and you don't know about attic tents, you hadn't been listening to me, that's for sure. But attictent.com, and you can go on YouTube and look at my channel, About Your House channel, and there's a video on there. I can't believe it's been seen almost 1,200 times of me putting a attic tent in. It takes less than 20 minutes if you're slow, and if you're fast, you could do it in 10 minutes. But take your time and take 30. So the point is, it's easy to do. You ever put an attic tent in?
I have not put one in, but the HVAC contractors in Charlotte, all of them ought to be selling that as an accessory.
Most of them do sell it upsell as an upsell.
Oh, absolutely.
And you can get one installed, I think, around $250 a piece. There's not much to them. You can go online and order it yourself for a little over $100, I do believe, and then take you a staple gun. All you need is a staple gun and a caulking gun with some caulking in it. You need the gun and the caulking. Don't forget the caulking because you can't do much without it. The gun doesn't do you much good.
That's correct. There's a lot of little ways that, I was with Piedmont Natural Gas for almost 20 years. And
what'd you do for Piedmont?
I was a retail salesman and then kind of ventured into the builder and developer market while Charlotte was exploding in house building, and just learned a lot of things about how to save people money as far as, putting in new windows or caulking or doing a lot of the little things. I mean, some of the things that we used to give away were covers for the outlets. Most people don't realize.
Oh, those little gaskets?
Yeah, little gaskets. I mean, I'd go out there and give them 10. They said, what is that? And I'd say, go over there and pull that cover off of there.
Right.
Feel all that air coming through. I said, by the time you go through and you got 30 outlets in your house, you might as well crack a window a quarter of an inch.
Well, that's true. You're exactly right.
So,
and speaking of that, a lot of people out there got a window open right now and don't even know it because you don't go check your windows, and that's something I would highly recommend you do. We talked about the attic tent. You lose 90% of your comfort through air leaks. We talk a lot about doing air seal program. ABS Insulating has an air seal program. If you call them up and say, do y'all still offer an air seal package? Not all houses are really qualify for it, but 95% of them do. Now, what's an air seal task? Air sealing means they're going to come in and use foam and various other methodologies in sealing air. For example, if you've got a recessed can in the ceiling going into your attic, there's a hole in your ceiling feeding right between your house and the attic. Fiberglass insulation is a filter medium. It will not stop airflow totally. It's an insulation barrier. That's it. Air will pass through insulation. So if you've got recessed cans in your ceiling, you've got an air leak. Now what they can do is come in, they've got these little tents and various methods of covering those recessed cans and making them airtight. Because imagine you've got 9 recessed lights in your kitchen. That's a lot of air loss, and those are big air losses. And one of the biggest air losses I've seen lately, yesterday, for example, I replaced a Genair downdraft range, and when I went under the cabinet there below the cooktop, I could feel this tremendous rush of cold air coming up through the cabinet floor because, as I've told you many times before, when HVAC contractors or installers, I'll just call them installers, go out there and install these units, what they do is they literally cut a bigger hole in the floor so they can get the ductwork through it. Oh, they'll seal around it in the cabinet. They seal around the whole real well. However, most of them use sheet metal. Sheet metal is not the ideal gasket, you might say, or cover around the hole because, well, it gets cold. There is transfer there. There is air transfer there. But I use 1/4-inch plywood, and it just does a more effective job, and that plywood doesn't get cold like the metal does. So just so you know, that's an area of great concern if you've got a downdraft ventilation system in your kitchen. You may want to check that. And then another thing I want to hit on, and that's make-up air. Again, make-up air. Make-up air is a damper that you don't see. It's hidden. It's in the structure. It's either in the attic or in the crawl space. And every time your vent fan comes on, these are for newer houses or remodeled kitchens because the code requires if you pull 400 CFM, that's cubic feet per minute, out of the house, you got to put 400 CFM back into the house. You're pumping 400 out. Anything over equal to 400 or greater, you must have make-up air. That means there's a pressure switch. When you turn your fan on, it activates your pressure switch, which activates a damper, and it'll open. And then when you cut the air off, it'll close and closes that air intake. But here's where I'm going. When it opens, if this air intake, is below the cooktop or around the cooktop, when you turn your vent fan on, you're going to feel a draft, especially Thursday morning when it gets 19 degrees. It's going to be cold, and you're going to feel that cold air. Now, you're going to say, what can I do about that? Oh, I'm not allowed to tell you. And there's a reason that make-up air's there, and that's because in newer homes, Bullet here alluded to how tight they're wrapped. You may have a gas water heater. You got a vent on that. You may have a fireplace that vents.
Furnace.
What's that?
Furnace.
And furnaces. And all these carry vents. Where's that air coming from? You definitely don't want to pull air down a vent for your furnace or water heater, much less fireplace. So that's what make-up air is all about. And a lot of people don't give that a lot of thought, just like they don't give a tape measure a lot of thought. I thought I'd throw that in there.
Oh, yeah. Well, there's one misnomer that I want to kind of throw out some education here.
Sure, please do. That's why you're here.
You mentioned fireplaces. A lot of people are hot and heavy for the last 30 years for gas fire logs.
Oh, yeah, big time.
Oh, they're great. The problem with that is, and I don't know what the code is now because I've been out of it for a while, but some of these gas logs require, or most of the code back then required 1 square inch per 1,000 BTUs. When you're talking about a standard fireplace, locking that flue up.
Right, cracking it open.
No, I'm not talking about cracking, because some of these gas logs went from 30,000 to 80,000. And I would explain emphatically to these people when they bought, one lady bought 6 sets of gas logs, 75,000 BTUs each.
Wow, that's a lot of.
That's the equivalent of 5 furnaces in a house. And I explained to her, ma'am, I said, not only are you going to have a huge gas bill, but your fireplaces, your dampers are going to be locked open 80 square inches.
My goodness, that's a lot of heat loss.
Yeah.
That's tremendous.
My recommendation would be to get you a set of glass doors.
Well, that's event-free.
And no, just
I got
something
you.
to cover
Yeah.
and have it insulated around the edges to take up some of that loss, because I'm telling you what's the truth. 75, 80,000 BTUs on a set of gas logs, and they all want it to look good, and I understand that.
Sure.
She had the resources to buy whatever she wanted, and it cost her a pretty penny, but still, I guess somebody like that is just kind of like buying a Mercedes or a BMW.
No, it's just something else.
You're not concerned about the upkeep
Right.
at that point.
Speaking of upkeep, Owens Chimney Systems, if you've got gas fire logs or looking to purchase gas fire logs or have a question about gas fire logs, and I will say this out of the gate, if you've got gas fire logs that are over 20 years old, you need to replace them. It's that simple.
I agree.
You just need to replace them. You need to come up to date. And Owens Chimney Systems not only will educate you, but they'll also come out and take care of it. If you need a gas line run, they'll take care of it. If you need some fireplace work done, hearth work done, they'll take care of it. They're very, very, very complete, and that's Owens Chimney Systems. They'll travel anywhere around the Charlotte metro area to take care of you. They're a great company, family owned and operated for over 30 years, and it's just a remarkable company. And speaking of Put Tools in Schools, they're happy to support Put Tools in Schools. They have an apprenticeship program right there in-house to take care of what they do. Now, what they do, they not only take care of gas fire logs, they rebuild chimneys, they'll take care of any hearth product, that's fireplace product, as well as clean, flues, maintain gas fire logs, and they will also come out and clean gas furnaces, the most underlooked or most neglected area of your house. People very rarely clean their furnaces out. Well, Owens Chimney Systems can do just that. So that's Owens Chimney Systems. Are located in Monroe, but like I said, doesn't matter where they're at. Just Google them. That's Owens Chimney Systems, one of our great sponsors. Been a sponsor for many years, and like I said, great company. They also, I've got to throw this in here, chimney caps. You know what chimney caps are.
Oh, yeah.
Well, they'll fabricate custom, make any size chimney cap you need, and they've got a whole chimney cap fabrication department down there, and with sheet metal. And you talking about some happy boys. They're a bunch of happy boys down there working in the shop because they get to make, create, and do what they want to do around making and fabricating, and even coming up with different designs around chimney caps. And there are very few companies, and they ship all over the country. So that's Owens Chimney Systems right here in Monroe.
Well, one thing about those chimney caps too, they keep the squirrels and birds and things of that nature out.
Sure do.
One of the things I saw in the last 40 years is I didn't realize how many fires were actually started because of bird nest, bat stuff.
Guano.
Creatures climbing in the and starting homes and in the chimneys, and first time you fire it up, next thing you know, you got a 10-foot flame coming out of your chimney, and you're wondering where it came from, and it's you're burning up somebody's neighborhood.
Right. And also with chimney caps, they tend to be spark arresters too. In other words, they won't allow sparks to evade and get out and set the woods on fire. So, and that one of the things, have you ever seen a chimney fire?
Oh yeah. My dad started one time, and it's not good.
Not good at all. Matter of fact,
gets in there and gets to going. It's like burning tar.
And it sounds like a freight train. It does, man. They're loud because I was in the living room when we had one down in my son's house many years ago. We were down there for the holidays, and we heard this roaring noise, and the fireplace sounded like it was coming out of the box, and I knew what was going on.
Yep.
And flames were shooting out that chimney. Man alive, it was something. We just had to shut her down.
My dad got the wood stove too hot one time, and that's what I did from the time I was about 11 to 18 is cut wood all during the summer and fall.
Oh, I've cut my share, that's for sure.
So my dad got the thing a little hot. Next thing you know, neighbor called, and there was fire going out of the chimney about 8 foot high and sparks going everywhere, and Mom called 911. You got to come out here and.
Here come the fire department. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Well, folks, your fireplace can be very deadly in many different ways. I highly recommend getting it serviced. We're in the dead of winter now. And one more thing, we're talking about heat and air loss, and to cover this again, thermal imaging cameras. This is the time of the year that you can really find leaks and cold spots in your house. And it's not that expensive, but a thermal imaging camera can locate your cold spots, air exchange. This time of the year, January and February, are the best time of the year to do it because of the differential. Mm-hmm. Now, when I say differential, we're 98.6 roughly, right? You know what we are?
Right.
Well, when the temps outside 32 or lower, you got a spread, of 60 degrees there, 60 degrees or better. Well, in the summertime, you know, if the temps outside's 85, 90 degrees, well, there ain't but 5 or 10 degrees difference between you and that, so you don't have a big differential. Therefore, thermal imaging won't pick it up as readily. But and it's also 'tis the season to have your crawl space inspected. Now you say, why? Why now? Well, it's cold. It's cold. And when it's cold, well, I'll give you a great example. Yesterday I had to go under a house twice. And when I opened the crawl space door, what did I feel? Heat. I felt heat. Well, what did that tell me? Well, if I've got a crawl space with vents in it, vented crawl space, and I open the door and I got heat, tell me I got air leaks, right? Well, if you today or tomorrow, sometime this week, first thing in the morning, go outside and open your crawl space door, if you feel heat, well, it can be good and it can be bad. The bad part's you're losing comfort in your crawl space, which you're not trying to heat and cool, right? Therefore, you got air leaks. It's letting your hot comfort air into your crawl. Well, that's the time you want to find out where those leaks are, and you can do that more readily in the winter months because it's cold. You can feel them. And like I've told many people, there's a lot of duct work that gets dropped. Yesterday I was in that house too. 2 ducts were hanging down, just laying on the ground. So as soon as I got back in the house, I told the homeowner, I said, you need somebody. And this happens as a warning. This kind of junk, I call it junk, crap actually. This kind of crap happens with subcontractors going under your house during a remodeling project. And yesterday I go up under this house, there's wires hanging everywhere, there's ductwork dropped, there's all this mayhem under there. There's no sense in that. But the homeowner's not going to crawl under there and inspect it. But I sure as heck did.
Well, one thing about it, Ray, it's you just mentioned right there, contractors going underneath the home. I don't know of maybe 1% of the homeowners that own homes with crawl spaces that will actually go under.
Right.
Most of them are actual crawl spaces.
You got to crawl.
And when you crawl underneath there, and I can tell you from experience, I've done the exact same thing.
Sure.
When I was at Piedmont, man called me up. He's 90 years old. Went over to his house about 10 o'clock one night. Couldn't understand why his brand new furnace wasn't heating. Well, the 30-inch supply wasn't hooked up.
Yeah.
It laying on the ground.
Yep.
I said the crawl space that I went under a week ago that was damp was now nothing but red dust.
Right.
It had dried out big time. So I called the contractor up. I said, you need to get out here and connect this man's heating the crawl space. I said, somehow, some way it didn't do. But what happens, Ray, is with all the contractors that crawl under the house, if you have a crawl space, they have tools in their back pockets, usually screwdrivers or something like that.
Or a bucket or a box, and they're dragging it through there.
They'll drag that stuff through there, and I've had it on brand new installations where somebody went out there, the electrician went out there to make some final connections or some adjustments. He had screwdrivers in his back pocket. Well, I had replaced all the ductwork in his house. Well, I met the inspector out there, and she said, I can't pass it. And I said, why? She said, the ductwork's tore up in 2 or 3 places. And I said, well, show me where. Got on the crawl space, and I had tape. I don't like failing inspections.
I understand that.
And I said, I took the tape, and I said, you tell me what I need to do to seal this thing up correctly to your specifications, and I'll get it done right here. But those things happen, and with people not going under and looking at those ducts, that's a huge, huge part. I mean, even a duct that was sealed 5 or 10 years ago. Sure. It's in a moisture environment under the house. Most of them are moist and cold. And when you go underneath there, sometimes that tape don't, depending on the quality. I mean, most of it's pretty good. But right. Tape is tape. Yeah. Sometimes moisture gets there and there, affects it, and something may fall off, and all of a sudden you got a room that's not being cooled or heated. Well, there's an issue there.
Yes, there is. And not only that, you're putting all that energized air in your crawl space. And now who could inspect your crawl space this time of the year? Kilo Exterminating, right here in Charlotte. Been in Charlotte since 1952. And they've been proud to support About Your House and Put Tools in Schools for, well, a long time. I don't know how many years. We've been on this show now for 35. They've been here half of that. Kilo Exterminating. The Kilo family, Brian Wyndham is now general manager. He is Dr. Kilo's son-in-law, so it's still in the family owned and operate. Hadn't been bought out like most companies. And what they do, they'll come out and inspect your house for wood-destroying insects or annoying insects like spiders. Spiders, people hate spiders. I kind of like them. But anyway, they'll come out and do a thorough inspection on your house. And not only that, but they'll give you 3, 4, 5 moisture readings, depending on the size of your house. And they'll also come back and give you a report on anything they see that shouldn't be there, or you've got issues, such as dropped heating ducts. One more thing I want to throw in here, and I've talked about it many times before. It's winter, so this isn't a problem, what I'm about to speak of. But in this summertime, metal boots. Most ductwork now is flex duct. Flex duct is a flexible foil inner liner, sometimes just clear plastic, depending on the quality or the grade, and it's wrapped with insulation. It's like a little cozy blanket on the outside, and it flexes. That's why they call it flex duct. Well, at the plenums, the main air plenums, and through the floor, they're going to put a metal boot, a transition boot. Through the main plenum, they put a tap collar in it, typically. That tap collar is made of metal, but it's covered completely and insulated from outside air of the crawl space. But the boot going through the floor, sometimes when they insulate the floor system with either fiberglass or they could spray foam it, and typically when they use spray foam, this is not an issue. But when that metal is exposed to the air of your crawl space in the dead of summer, and you're pumping 58-degree air through that from the air conditioning, and then in the crawl space, well, outside, let's say it's 90 degrees, humidity is like 65%. So you've got hot, moist air in your crawl space. Well, that hot, moist air touching a 58-degree boot, what do you get? Water every time, just like a tea glass taking a brand new fresh glass of iced tea and setting it on your outdoor patio table. What happens? There's a puddle of water on the table. Am I right or wrong? Every time. So what happens to that moisture around that boot? It goes in the flex duct. And then, and I've seen this so many times I couldn't count. Go into a house and look down, and the strap, between the straps where they hold the boot up, you'll see a big dip in the flex duct. And you know what's causing that. You go and just touch the bottom of it. It's like a big water balloon.
Yep. Poke a hole in the bottom and drain it out.
Yep. That's all you can do is poke a hole in the bottom, drain it out. But that's not all you need to do. You need to seal and insulate around that boot very thoroughly so it won't become that kind of problem. And once again, Kilo Exterminating, or if you call any pest control company, this is a great time of the year to have them come out, seriously. But if they don't do moisture readings, get rid of them. They're not doing their job well. So that's Kilo Exterminating. Been around Charlotte for many, 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 many years, since 1952. Once again, it's family owned. Just Google them, and they'll take care of you. Give them a call. They'll not only come out to your house, they'll talk to you and educate you. And one of the things I want to throw in here is a little caveat to this discussion, and talking about bugs. How many have heard about brown recluse spiders? There's a lot of fear thrown out there around brown recluse and how bad their bites are, and just terrible things. Well, let me say this. Brown recluse spiders aren't as numerous and plentiful in this area as is led to believe by some people, because the people I go to, Kilo, I'll go into Kilo about every year and I'll ask about brown recluse spiders. They go in 80 to 100, over 100 houses a day, and there are years where they don't see many at all. They're out there. I'm not saying they're not prevalent. They are, but not in the numbers people think they are. The worst spider we've got in this area is a black widow spider. And black widow spiders are easily found under moist moisture. They typically will go in dark spaces around
Absolutely.
moisture. So if you pick up a brick or a board or whatever, and there's a big black spider with a big black bubble on the back of it, hourglass on it in red, that's a black widow spider. And they're not aggressive. They won't follow you or chase you or spit at you or anything like that. A lot of people have a lot of fear from them, but I never mess with them when I see them.
Well, I tell you, as somebody that's been under probably 18,000 crawl spaces
Yep.
over the years, and if you look at my head, it looks like a wrestler's head. I've
You and mine both.
scraped nails and metal vents and everything on my head, and every day I come on a new scar. My wife begged me to buy a hard hat, and I was too hard-headed to get one.
Well, you got to keep it on your head.
Spiders, jumping spiders were one of those things that you just tolerated.
Sure.
Spiders were no big deal to me.
What about snake?
Snakes, that's another story. I'm an avid fisherman. I tolerate snakes on TV, but I do not tolerate snakes
In your life?
in my life. I was fishing about 2 o'clock in the morning under a full moon one time and saw this little swirl coming towards the boat, and I'm like, my buddy looked at me, he said, Mr. No Shoulder's coming? I said, oh, yeah.
No shoulder, is that what you got?
Yeah, he come right up to the boat, and he got near the trolling motor, and he started up the trolling motor, and I took this was 30 years ago, I took a $200 graphite boron rod, and I beat him to death off that trolling motor. And as soon as he fell back in the water, funny thing, my partner's sitting in the back of the boat, he says, crank this baby up. I don't want him coming back here because I'm not tearing up my rod.
What kind of snake was it? Do you know? You didn't care.
It probably just a water snake, but it didn't matter. I reached in willow trees to grab a lure or a jig that got hung up and had to pull my hand back because I saw a snake laying up in there. And I'm like, take scissors, cut the line. I'll buy another lure.
Well, I've gotten to where I don't really mind snakes that much. I don't know, they're just so prevalent in our area. But let me say this is another little interjection here. Water moccasins. We live in the South, and a lot of people don't swim in lakes because they're afraid to death they're going to get bit by a water moccasin. Well, I'll tell you this by our two resident wildlife experts, Steve Hughes and Andrew Cole, both Song Dog Wildlife, and Steve Hughes, wildlife extraordinaire. And Steve, his hobby's hunting snakes.
He can have it.
Steve Hughes. His hobby's hunting snakes, and they'll run off to the South Carolina plantation lands and spend the whole day looking for snakes. Copperheads, they don't care.
Yeah.
They'll just look for snakes. And there are no water moccasins in Mecklenburg County.
Water moccasins are typically in warmer environments towards the coast. And the first time I ever encountered a water moccasin, we were in Lake Okeechobee down in Florida.
Yeah.
Roland Martin's place, and I was running a bass tournament. And we had just got the boats off for the first day, and I was walking back to the condo.
Right.
And I'm walking around this little cut. I look down there, and I see something coiled up, about the size of a basketball, about 3 inches high. And I'm like, huh. So I walked over there, and curiosity got the best of me. I said, I wonder if that's a water moccasin, cottonmouth.
Yeah.
Well, buddy, let me tell you what. He popped his little head up, opened his mouth, and I said, oh, yeah, baby. Well, I got one about 6 foot of him, and he got a little uncomfortable. He come after me, and I looked like one of them cartoon characters that just jumped up in the air and went zip. Because I ran like crazy, and my buddy looked at me, he said, what's wrong with you? Man, don't even go there with me. Just saw a copperhead down there, and he got a little bit more aggressive.
Yeah, you're talking about cottonmouth.
Yeah, cottonmouth. And I said, he got more aggressive. That's the first time I run into one.
Well, Charlotte doesn't have water moccasins per se. I imagine there might be one or two around, but they're very, very few. You'll start seeing water moccasins around Paisley.
Right.
Around Paisley, headed to the coast.
By the time you hit the sandy area.
Yep, sand hills. You'll have water moccasins down in that area. But Charlotte, Mecklenburg, nah, nothing to speak of. So don't worry about it when you go swimming in those ponds.
But you know, one thing about copperheads, the copperhead is it's kind of funny because the little ones, the babies and
Sure.
the, adolescents, they will strike and envenomate you. And most time, a mature copperhead, and I got bit about 2 years ago, about 10 o'clock at night.
Oh, really?
Yeah, going out putting my trash out about 10 o'clock, barefoot.
That's the time where you'll see copperheads
Yeah, well,
on the concrete driveway.
You know, I
Getting
went
to
around
eat.
the house, opened trash can, threw the trash in, and bam, I got popped. I thought maybe, I'd
Where'd he
stepped
pop you?
right on top of the foot.
Oh, really?
Yeah, right foot. And I'm like, well, that stung. I thought maybe I walked into a couple of fire ants.
Right.
So
yeah.
it's about 10 o'clock at night. Wife's in bed, and I thought, went back, sat in the garage, and started putting line on a rod.
Doing what you do.
Yeah, and I looked down there, and I'm like, starting to swell a little bit. I didn't think nothing of it, but I distinctly saw 2 holes down on top of my foot. And
How far were they apart?
maybe 3/8 to a little more than 3/8 half inch.
About 3/8 half. Okay.
And I'm sitting there, and I thought, well, I just got bit by a copperhead. Let's see what happens, So I just let it go, and
You didn't go to the doctor?
heck no, man, I wasn't gonna go to no doctor. I'll sit there,
No, it's just a copperhead. What the heck?
Well, I mean,
ain't nothing to it.
I've had a couple of my hunting buddies, they got bit
Oh, Lord.
by mature copperheads, and they say, a lot of times those are dry bites. You're going to feel irritation like a bee sting, and you'll see a little
Yeah, I've heard
swelling.
the same thing. Steve's talked about that on the show.
So if you feel a little bit antsy about it, then call the hospital. My wife worked at the hospital, so
Sure.
all I had to do is step up and holler in the door, come get me, so. But no, it was just a dry bite, and I
So
showed her.
didn't get much worse?
No, I just did the hydroperoxide and put a Band-Aid on it. And my wife got up the next morning, I ripped the Band-Aid off. I said, I got popped by a copperhead last night. She got mad. She said, you didn't come get me? I said, what for? I said, I didn't get envenomated. I said, I just got popped.
Envenomated. I've never heard that word before. I love it. Envenomated.
That's old fisherman's term.
Envenomated.
Envenomated.
I love it.
We have our own language sometimes.
Yeah. When's the last time you went fishing?
Last Saturday.
He's a competitive fisherman, folks. He goes out in the bass boats and, just does his thing.
This year was kind of an off year. The year before, I fished 29 tournaments in 9 states. This year, not so much. I had 5 operations in 3 months, and I'm 4 months into this knee replacement. So,
All right, guys, share with people about your knee replacement, because a lot of older people, excuse me, a lot of older people out there get knee replacements, and I've known quite a few. My brother got a double knee replacement, and my other brother's going to get a double knee replacement at one time. And there's some people that's that brave. Us Terry boys, I guess, are, because I got 2 brothers that's going to do them both at the same time. One
that's
already
really
has
brave.
done it.
Yeah, that's really brave.
How's yours going?
I'm about 4.5 months in. I've got some issues to work through. I overdid it getting back. I had the surgery done on a Wednesday at lunchtime and went to work on Friday at 8 o'clock. So they cautioned me during physical therapy to slow down a little bit. Well, you know me, I can't slow down.
You didn't slow down much?
No, they gave me permission to get back in the boat after 4 weeks. So I've been going since then. So I took some of Christmas time off to kind of let it heal.
Right.
They've been telling me I hadn't letting it heal. So we're going to see. They say it takes 6 to 12 months.
Well, everybody's different.
And with me being older, I'm sure it's going to take a little longer.
Right.
And so I started back up at the gym last week, and I have a whole app that they sent me with all the exercises that I need to do. And it's kind of, hopefully I'll sit down and follow directions for a change.
You think?
No.
Think not.
Well,
Cool. Well, let's talk about one of our sponsors. I got, if you haven't noticed, folks, it's a different format. We don't have bumper music. We're going to change the whole format to a podcast format. So what you hear is what you get now. No, we do not have bumper music. We might refine that and add that to the list later on, but we're working our bugs out. New podcast studio here at the Toolbox, working through the bugs. Richton, Kevin, Mark, they're over there working on the system, making it work. Last week we did our first one, and the audio was a bit sketchy from time to time, but we're working the bugs out, so bear with us. But we couldn't do it. We couldn't do it without our sponsors. Speaking of which, I want to talk about Rhino Lift Foundation Solutions. There's the crew right there. Which camera? Oh, yeah, I see which camera you came in. And one great thing about this studio, and I must thank Atera Media for putting it together, because he gave us the technology and all the information surrounding it, and now it's up to us to put it all to use and get to where we need to be with it. But speaking of our sponsor, Rhino Lift Foundation Solutions, I was at a house yesterday. Great candidate for Rhino Lift. Went up to the front door. The steps going up to the front door had sunk at least 3 inches on the right-hand side. The sidewalk going up to the steps had sunk that much as well. Well, Rhino Lift Foundation Solutions is the answer. They can come, lift that sucker back into its place without tearing it up and having to rebuild it. And they can put a foundation under it that it wouldn't require doing so. To put a foundation under it, they can put a helical pier or use foam pumping to get it back up. But when I'm lifting a set of steps, that might be difficult, so they may have to put a helical pier or some other solution. But the great thing about Rhino Lift Foundation Solutions, totally transparent, honest company. They're coming out to fix the problem, educate you on what they can do to help you fix the problem with the least amount of expense and stress and inconvenience to your home and life. That's Rhino Lift Foundation Solutions. They'll service you no matter what part of the city you're from, or state for that matter. Licensed in both North Carolina and South Carolina, general contractor, and they can take care of you from the mountains to the coast. I don't care where you're at. That's Rhino Lift Foundation Solutions, whether it's a crawl space, a waterproofing job, foundation repair, crawl space, concrete repair, basement waterproofing. They'll take care of you.
So they do the encapsulation?
They do the encapsulation.
Wow,
if it's anything to do with your crawl space and below or foundation, Rhino Lift will got you covered.
That's great, because I tell you, those encapsulations where they're really needed sometimes is and I used to sell them. So it's those things are amazing when you can get a constant humidity level underneath a home.
But it's also all dictated on the water around your house as well. A lot of companies in Charlotte, and I'm just going to lay it out there to you because I've been involved with them. A lot of companies will come out there and sell you an encapsulated crawl space, acting like that's the silver bullet. You know, it's going to take care of everything. If you don't take care of intrusive water first and foremost, you're not dealing with the issue.
Right.
You've got to eliminate surface water from entering the crawl space area, regardless whether you encapsulate it or not. That's your main point of defense. Eliminate water around your house to eliminate it from coming into the crawl space area. Water, there's a lot of houses in Charlotte. You know, I realize owning a home costs a lot of money. It's a big investment. You know, not only do you have to make that monthly mortgage payment, you got insurance, you got taxes, but you also got upkeep. Upkeep. Does it ever stop?
No. It's kind of like your body, man. Something's going to wear out. It's got to be replaced. You know, it's just wear and tear. I don't care whether it's flooring. I don't care if it's appliances. There's a certain lifetime, everything in that house.
Right.
Paint included. Toilets. Toilets are one of those things that
Oh, yeah. I got 2 to fix right now for a customer.
they wear out. The interior wears out. They go bad for whatever reason.
Let me tell you a reason that I hit last week, talking about constant ongoing. He calls me up, he being Kevin. You met Kevin on the board. Well, Kevin went over to Kevin. Kevin said, not that Kevin, different Kevin. He says, Ray, I flushed my commode and blue water went all over the floor. I says, what? He said, yeah, you know that blue cleansing stuff you put in your tank? He said, it went everywhere. He said, between the tank and the bowl. I says, my gosh, rarely do I hear where a seal, the tank seal has deteriorated to the point where it leaks.
Oh my God.
But sure enough, I go over there and it's deteriorated that much because he's got 4 toilets and he uses this one. He uses this one about the least amount. So it leaked. So I had to take it apart and go find another seal. And I got to do kudos for Ferguson out there. I can't remember the name of the road right beside Lowe's out there on 51 in Pineville.
Yeah.
The Lowe's in Pineville.
Yeah.
There's a Ferguson plumbing supply place right there.
Yeah.
And I walked in the door. He saw my thing. He says, "That's a Kohler gasket. And you'll find it right back there on that wall." And he knew when I walked in the door what I had in my hand.
It's funny you mentioned toilets. I've got one tore apart right now. All I got to do is lift it up and put a new ring in it. So,
Right.
That'll be a project for tonight. So.
You got your is it a flapper? That's bad.
No, it's the ring, the wax ring underneath.
Oh, the wax ring. Oh, you got a floor seal.
Yeah.
I got you. Yep. I went to a hotel on one of my jaunts cross country. We went into a hotel room one time, and I check them out before we give it the thumbs up. Okay. Went in the bathroom, and there's water coming in the grout joints all around the toilet. I says, "Oh no, we ain't staying in this room." The wax ring was bad. So we left that hotel because there was other issues. But anyway, you can tell if you see water around the base of your commode, your water closet, you more than likely wax ring's gone bad and something you need to have fixed. And what's required on that is you literally, tell them.
Well, basically, it's just the main thing is loosen the connection to the toilet.
Yep, water connection. Cut the water off first.
Cut the water off first. I did that on a dishwasher about 40 years ago. It didn't work out too well. My wife doesn't like me doing stuff because I'm not mechanically inclined. Anyway, shut the water off, flush the toilet, let as much water as you can get out. And I used a whole roll of paper towels to get all the water out of the toilet and the bowl.
Or you can use a good old terry cloth rag works good too.
Well, I just wanted to get it done quick. So
What's that?
Shop vac.
Shop
vac.
I don't want to mess up my shop vac for that little bit of issue.
Well, anyway, got that done, and it is now sitting with all the bolts, everything. All I got to do is lift it straight up, set it to the side, take the old ring out, and put the other one in, and then make sure I get toilet set correctly.
Right.
Balance it, sit on it, press the ring down, and then all of a sudden you've just got to reconnect all the
There you
bolts
go.
and
Not a
connect
hard job, but most people think it's nasty and filthy, and it can be. But it's really not a bad job.
No,
But it's not a
easy
job for anybody that's weak because you got to pick that commode up.
That's my only caveat. Being,
Yeah, that's why I
being
thought.
the age
I thought
that
I'd
I am.
throw that in there.
I'm going to be 66 in 2 months, and
Well, congratulations.
that's the reason the job's not finished is because haven't tried picking the bowl up yet.
Well,
That might be something that I can get some help with a neighbor or something.
I hear you. It wouldn't be bad to get some help for sure, but it's one of those things. All right, we're gonna bug every show from now on. We're gonna stop at the end of the first hour, just to let you know. So we're gonna take a 5-minute break. We'll come back, and my team over here. We're gonna get something for the screen so we can do a 4 or 5 minute break. Does that make sense? It keeps people's interest. We'll do that. So just so you know, I got you. I'm plugged into you. 617. But just to throw you a tidbit of info coming up, we got about 6 minutes left in the show, first hour here, first of 2 hours. And you're listening to us on Fox Sports Charlotte, YouTube Live, Facebook Live, About Your House radio page on YouTube, as well as Put Tools in Schools on YouTube. Both channels have this show going right now, streaming live, as well as on Facebook Live on About Your House radio page. And also, we're on Fox Sports Charlotte every Saturday, 9 to 11 a.m. And you can also call us here. We're using the cell phone for now, and we'll be glad to take your call at 704-712-4644. That's 704-712-4644. My guest is Bullet Helms. His real name's Steve Helms, but his nickname's Bullet, and that's what everybody calls him. And have you told that story before? How you got Bullet?
More times than Yeah.
Yep. People say, how'd they name you Bullet? His head looked like a bullet.
Well,
That's what I'm going to say anyway.
that's what everybody believes, but it's not quite true.
But it's a good story anyway. Hour number 2, we're going to talk about remodeling, planning ahead. It is 2026. If you're looking to get a remodeling job and be the DIY, do-it-yourself or contractor, we're going to talk about that next hour coming up and what things you should do and things you shouldn't do. And see that logo you got right there? That's the wrong logo. And that's why I'm sitting here. That logo you got right there of the radio show About Your House is the wrong logo. And you're going to say, what's wrong with it? Look at the one behind me and then look at the one you just put up. They're different. Yeah, I know. I said they were. But excuse me, folks. I'm talking to my crew over here. We're trying to get this artwork right. And that one's not good either. So, but we'll get all that straight, folks. I tell you what, I will say this on the close of this hour. If you think it's easy in this world we live in to get things done, no way. Even this, we can't do anything without issues. And when you get technology involved, if you hadn't figured it out yet, something's always going wrong. We've got 2, 3 minor little details in this studio that we're working on now. And it just takes time. It takes time to work out the details. So just bear with us as we go through this journey together. Every week, hopefully 2 times a week, we're going to be doing podcasts from the studio here and bringing you up to date on put tools in schools and various things, which I will talk about next hour because we've got events, but we've got an issue. We've got an issue around industry, as I've told you many times before. What's industry doing about it? Well, they're going to work every day making that cash flow, right? Well, they're worried about their return on their investment when they attend the events of Put Tools in Schools. Folks, if we don't do this, our kids, your future in home repair and maintenance, as far as getting good service techs, slim to none, because it's slim pickings right now. Something happened to me yesterday which validates it. I left that vent hood I told you I installed. Well, like most remodel jobs or new houses I go to work on, the electrician doesn't finish everything when he's supposed to, and I go out there to plug it in, make it all work, and nothing works because the electrician hadn't tied it into the panel or put a receptacle in or whatever the case may be. That kind of mess should not go down. It's ridiculous when you can't finish a job because of another contractor that was supposed to have been there 2 days before me and gotten finished and prepared for my coming on the job. And the appliances are being installed today. But it's so typical when people say, they'll tell you what you want to hear. Well, that don't work too good, folks. So find reputable contractors. Find reputable contractors that can do what they say and say what they do and do it on time the way it's supposed to be done. Now, why I bring that up in remodeling and building and whatever you're going to do this year, start your look, folks. Start your find. If you're a DIY contractor in Charlotte, North Carolina, do-it-yourselfer, and you're going to do the job and manage it, you're the project manager, superintendent, call it what you want. But if you're going to do it, you better get a plan very well written on paper, very, very itemized list, and start covering your bases. That's the insight I can give you for the new year. Because right now, it's a bear. In Charlotte right now, I'll give you a great example. Went out to Queen City Home Store this week to pick up a part for a job. That makeup air damper I put in yesterday. I picked it up out at Queen City. And I walked in, and every sales rep in that room, every sales rep was busy, either on the phone or with a customer. And the lady that works out there, she told me, she said, Ray, we're slap covered up. She said the Christmas holidays were brutal, but now look at this place. It's crazy. So things are jumping, things are hopping. It is definitely something you need to plan and look ahead, and we'll talk about it next hour. But right now we're working on taking a top of the hour break. When we come back, we're going to put emphasis on remodeling, home improvement, Bullet Helms, Put Tools in Schools, and more things. Who knows where we might go. But right now, I can say this. It's been fun. But we're going to take about a 5-minute break here. We'll be back on the other side with more about your house, heard right here, Fox Sports Charlotte. So go get your cup of coffee, glass of orange juice, or maybe eat a quick breakfast. We'll see you in 5. Cool. Now, did you cut us off?
Yeah, I'm stopping it right now. Yeah. Yeah, stop stream, stop record, yeah.
You got to pee?
Yeah, you kidding me?
Ray, I wanted to ask your login for your Gmail so he can log into Loomly, so he can post on social media and all that stuff now. So
On good. What do you want my password for?
yeah, you need because we made the account through your Gmail and it's asking me for your info at Put Tools in School's Gmail password. So if it's right if I type that in and all that stuff too. So
Password is 66.
okay, one sec. I'll write it down for just in case we do this again.
No flexos.
Okay, no.
Just ends are capitalized. That's it. Just the
okay,
end.
6 no flex hose.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember I had a save 62 no flex hose for something else.
Yeah, something else, but it wasn't that one.
Yeah, so 6 no flex hose.
Is it working?
I'm about to type it in and check.
That's his Gmail.
Yeah, it's a Gmail. For info at Footles in Schools. Right?
Info. That if you want info, that's a different one.
Oh, okay. That's what I wanted now.
Is that that ain't what you asked for?
Yeah, I was asking for info at Footles in Schools.
Okay, now you want it's
Yeah.
hash mark # 2023.
Oh, okay.
A year to remember. A year to remember are all capped.
Okay.
Lowercase words.
Yes. Okay. Right, and I'm sure that one's for your other one is AYH, right?
A year to remember is all lowercase.
No, a year to remember is A's capped, years capped,
Yeah.
2 is capped,
Oh, sorry.
remembers capped.
Got it.
Okay.
Are y'all getting anything, guys?
Yeah, I am.
You learning?
Yeah, I never showed you the video, I think about almost 3 years ago. I ended up camping on a den of copperheads.
Oh, that's crazy.
After like
Yeah.
like the big slab of rocks, we're camping on top of a mountain. This is like 4 hours away what is it called? Stony Springs or something like that, where all these waterfalls are at. Come out, they had a bunch of baby ones with their eyes were white, kind of glazed over, and they were just hibernating. They didn't come after us at all. We ended up camping there another night. But I
Wow.
have a video. Yeah, and we caught one at Bodie's place, what was it, like 3-4 months ago?
Shut that door.
What'd you catch?
Copperhead. Well, there was a mother copperhead in a nest. And normally we did the research, the copperhead can be real aggressive,
Oh yeah.
or it's real docile, but it wasn't. And so the cat attacked it and caught one of the babies. But yeah, the babies can be actually more lethal.
Yeah, that's what he alluded
Yeah,
to.
yeah.
Chop him,
Huh?
kill him.
Kill him. Did you get it squared away, Mark?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I remember the first time I went, one of the first times I went down to Cane Creek down there when it was first opened. Boat drifted up on the point. And I was with my high school football coach.
Okay, let's go.
And I said, Ron, do me a favor. He said, what's wrong? I said, I'm drifting.